Our notes today are going to be about solving inequalities. So when you solve inequalities, you need to know first that you use an open circle. So we're going to write that in there, open circle, for signs when they're less than or greater than, so not equal to. And then we use a closed circle. So we're going to write that, closed circle, for less than or equal to and greater than or equal to. So when it's equal to, it's going to be a closed circle, and when it's not equal to, it's an open circle. So again, what that might look like would be a circle that's actually filled in, or the open circle is just a circle that's open. It's not filled in. Okay. Something else that's really important is that you must flip the inequality symbol. So we're going to write that in. We're going to fill in flip the inequality symbol when you multiply or divide by a negative number. So anytime you multiply or divide by a negative number, you have to flip the inequality sign. So let's say for just a second that we had a really simple problem like negative 2x is greater than or equal to 4. So hopefully you know to solve that one-step inequality, we would divide right here by negative 2, divide here by negative 2. So when we do that, these would cancel. We get x, and then over here, that's negative 2, because 4 divided by negative 2 is negative 2. And we have to flip that sign. So I'm going to do that in a different color. So we flip this sign. So now it's x is less than or equal to negative 2. Because this right here, because we divided by a negative, we have to flip the sign. All right, so let's look at some other examples. So starting with number 1, we immediately have some distribution. So you got to remember first steps of solving. So we're going to distribute first. So we distribute negative 8 to the x, so that's going to be negative 8x. Then we distribute negative 8 to negative 1, so a negative times a negative gives us a positive 8. We stop distributing because our parentheses ends, and then we have minus x is less than or equal to negative 28. Our steps in solving next is combine like terms on each side. So we're looking for what terms are alike on each side. So on the left-hand side we have negative 8x and negative x. Those are like terms because they both have an x. Remember, this negative x is like a negative 1x. So if you need to add in that 1, do that. So negative 8x minus 1x, those are on the same side. We just combine those. That's going to be negative 9x. I don't have anything on the left side to combine with a positive 8, so I'm just going to bring down that. Plus 8 is less than or equal to. On the right-hand side, all I have is negative 28, nothing to combine there. All right, next step is to move variables to one side. Well, our variables are already all on the left-hand side. Our negative 9x is on the left by itself. So the next step, step 4, is to move constants to the other side. So my constants, I need to get all to the other side. My variables are on the left, so I'm going to move this constant 8 to the other side, and we do that by doing the opposite. So I'm going to subtract 8. When I do that, I get negative 9x, a positive 8, and a negative 8. Those are a zero pair, so they cancel. Is less than or equal to negative 28 minus 8 is going to be negative 36. And my last step is to multiply by the denominator or divide by the coefficient. So in this case, we're dividing by the coefficient. We have a coefficient on that x of negative 9. So we're going to divide by negative 9 on both sides. And when we divide by a negative on both sides, we flip the sign. So we're going to flip our inequality. So it's going to be x is greater than or equal to negative 36 divided by negative 9 is positive 4. So when I am putting that on a number line, it's equal to, so I'm going to go to 4 on the number line. That's right here. Those numbers are a little bit hidden. We're going to put a closed circle, and then we are going to highlight to the right. Greater than is going to be that way. Okay? So not quite on this side of the 4. Nope. Let me try that again. So at the 4, closed circle, and we're going to shade to the right. All right, let's look at the next example. So start with the same first step. We're going to distribute the -3. So we're going to do -3 times x is -3x. -3 times +2 is going to be -6. We stop distributing, so we just bring down our -3x is less than 2x plus 18. All right, in our solving equations or inequality steps, step 2 is to combine like terms on each side. So we are looking for like terms. So on the left-hand side, I have a -3x and another -3x. So I'm going to combine those. We do exactly what it says. So -3x minus 3x is going to be -6x. I don't have any other constants on that side, so I'm just going to bring down -6 is less than. On the right-hand side, I have one variable term, one constant term, so those are not alike. I'm just going to bring those down. All right, now I need to get all my variables on the same side. So you have a couple of options here. You could move the -6x to the right or move the 2x to the left. It doesn't matter. I'm going to move to the left. So I'm going to subtract 2x. We do the opposite to move it across the symbol. So subtract 2x from one side, I subtract 2x from the other side. Okay, then I simplify. -6x minus 2x is going to be -8x. I'm going to bring down my -6 is less than 18. At this point, now I move my constants to the other side. So I need to move my constant the other way. So I have a -6 that I need to add to get it to the other side. All right, so when I do that, I get -8x is less than 18 plus 6 is 24. My last step is to divide by the coefficient. I need x by itself, so to get the -8 off the x, I'm going to have to divide. So I'm going to divide by -8, divide on both sides by -8, -8. So we get x, when we divide by a negative, we flip our sign. It's going to be greater than -3. So it's greater than, so that's going to be an open circle at -3. So let's go right here. And greater than is going to be everything to the right. So that right there is x is greater than -3. All right, let's look at our next example, number 3. So this one we don't have any distribution, so we just start with step 2, combine like terms on each side. Same thing, we don't have any of that. We have a variable and a constant term and a variable and a constant term, nothing to combine. So step 3, move variables to one side. So we need to move all of our variables to the same side. So I'm going to do this one a little bit differently. Usually we would move the 6x to the left, but I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to move the 4x to the right. So I'm going to subtract 4x. Again, we do the opposite to get it to the other side. So I'm going to subtract 4x. When I do that, these are a zero pair, so they cancel. I get -6 is greater than or equal to 6x minus 4x is 2x minus 20. So now I have all my variables on the right-hand side this time, which means now I need to move my constants to the left. So I'm going to add the 20 to get it the other way. So add 20. So -6 plus 20 is going to be 14 is greater than or equal to 2x. Last step here is to divide by the coefficient. So to get x by itself, we divide by 2. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2. Divide by 2. So we get 7 is greater than or equal to x, which is a little funny. We want to read it from the variable. So in this case, I need to flip every single piece around. I want to put the x on the left-hand side and the 7 on the right-hand side, and I can't just switch those. I also have to change the symbol in the middle. So really, really important that you know how to flip this around. So this is going to now say x is less than or equal to 7. So we want to try and always get that variable on the left. So not sure that this would have been the best choice to move the -4x, but it's totally up to you. You should still get the same answer if you do it correctly. So x is less than or equal to 7. So we're going to go to 7. It's going to be a closed circle. And from there, we're going to shade less than. So everything less than 7 would be on the left side of 7. All right. Okay, at this point, I'm going to let you try number 4 and 5 and then and 6, and we will see how you do on those in class